Hey guys, this is Dr. Callahan with Algebra 2 Semester 2 for week 7 Thursday. Go ahead and pause the video and answer the following 3 questions for week 7 Thursday, Algebra 2 Semester 2. All right, you guys, so we are on week 7. This is our last day talking about adding and subtracting rational functions before we start moving on to like solving, which is the last thing that we need to do before we wrap up this unit. So this week, keep in mind that your 2 assignments is your Math Excel quiz, which you guys spent some time on yesterday and you should have finished in class. And then also your homework, which is on adding and subtracting rational expressions. You have until Sunday to finish this, so make sure you have those 2 items completed. So today is Thursday. This is kind of where we are right there. We're actually not quite to solving rational expressions, so we're just going to finish up adding and subtracting rational expressions, and we'll probably start solving rational expressions. I will probably most likely think that we're going to do that on, let's do that on Tuesday, because Monday is President's Day, so don't show up to school, obviously. And then we'll do solving rational expressions Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we'll basically just finish up by the end of this week. And then your packet, your guided notes will be due, and then I'll give you guys a brand new packet for the next unit. Okay, so putting things into perspective, that's kind of where we are heading. All right, so if you were absent last class, what did we cover? We took the quiz, obviously, and that's basically it. So if you were not here yesterday, make sure you guys take the quiz. In addition to that, you have a video that accompanies you for this class. So if you just go to the YouTube channel, which is posted on MS Team, in addition to your, you have the QR code on a piece of paper for you. You guys have 29 videos, and week 7 Wednesday is actually right there. So if you were not here yesterday, you can watch the video and figure out what it is that you missed. In addition to that, we also checked your grade on Wednesday. So everything that is you turn in week 6 is updated on Infinite Campus, and also posted your class average on Teams. So you know exactly where you guys are. I try not to hold on to your grades hostage for more than a week, so that way I don't get kind of complacent with where I should be with grading. So I try to update it every Wednesday. All right, so for today, our objective is adding and subtracting rational expressions. I'm gonna have you guys do a quizzes. You need to have a color paper, which you already have. And then also you need to have the handout from week 6 Friday, so last Friday. We're still not done with it yet, but we will finish that today. Does anybody need a copy of that? And if you're like, what does that look like? It looks like this. It's still the same one. We haven't finished the last 3 questions, but we'll finish it up today. Anybody need a copy? Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get started with today's stuff. Did we do number 9 and 10 on this? I'm trying to like remember. I don't remember. So can anybody just confirm for me? Did we do number 9 and 10? If it's blank on your paper, then we obviously didn't. Is it blank? Yeah, okay, so let's go and do number 9 and 10. So for number 9 and 10, you're finding the lowest common denominator. So, I don't know, I feel like we did it. Did we do it? Did we do it? Yes? Okay, I thought so. I was like, this looks very familiar. So let's go into number 8, 9, and 10. For those of you guys who are on Zoom with me, you'll see that we did number 9 and 10 probably on week 7 Tuesday. So refer to that video. All right, so for number 8, 9, and 10. This one is a subtraction, okay? If I were to subtract fractions like A over C minus B over C, you have to have a common denominator, right? So if you have a common denominator C, you just move that C over, and on top it's A minus B. That's how you subtract fractions. So in this situation for number 8, well, guess what? You don't have a common denominator. You have a 5x plus 2, so your lowest common denominator is 5x plus 2 in parentheses, and x minus 7. You got to have both, okay? And then you're gonna ask yourself, what do I need to multiply on my first fraction? And my first fraction is right here in yellow. What do I need to multiply that so I have the lowest common denominator? Well, you should be able to see that you are missing x minus 7. So then multiply x minus 7, top and bottom. If I do that, I'm going to distribute that 4, which will give me 4x minus 28 on top, 5x plus 2, x minus 7 on the bottom. Okay, that's my new fraction now. Now let's focus on the second fraction in orange. For the orange fraction, what am I missing on the bottom? I'm missing a 5x plus 2. So I'm going to multiply that top and bottom. And if I multiply that top and bottom, remember you're going to distribute that in 9, but it's a negative 9. So negative 9 times 5x is a negative 45x. Negative 9 times positive 2 is a negative 18. 5x plus 2, x minus 7 on the bottom. Do I have common denominators? Yes, I do. So I'm just going to keep my denominator exactly the same. But then I need to combine the numerator. Okay, and since I already distributed that negative, I don't need to make everything negative again because I already distributed that negative 9. So then I just combine 45 or negative 45x plus 4x and then negative 28 minus 18. I just combine them. So then I have a negative 41x minus 46. And that's my answer. All right, let's go ahead and try number 9. For number 9, lowest common denominator. Okay, you have two fractions. You have the yellow fraction, and then you also have the orange fraction. And notice with this one, it's actually a plus, not a minus. Okay, your lowest common denominator is x plus 3, x minus 5. And you ask yourself, my yellow fraction, what am I missing? I am missing a x minus 5, top and bottom. So I'm going to multiply it top and bottom. So then my new equation for this is going to be x minus 5, x plus 3. And you can go ahead and distribute that 1, but that 1 is not going to change anything. It's just going to be x minus 5 on top. Okay, so then I'm going to take a look at my orange fraction. And what am I missing? X plus 3. So I multiply that top and bottom. Okay, so then my new fraction for the second one is x minus 5, x plus 3, where I have the common denominator, but I do have to distribute that 2 into the x plus 3. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 3 is a 6. And notice that I didn't have to distribute like a negative because it's a positive. It's plussing the two fractions, okay? Do I have a common denominator? Yes, I do. It's x minus 5, x plus 3, and I just combine my fractions. So I'm going to go ahead and combine the numerator, which is going to be x and 2x, and then I'm also going to combine negative 5 and positive 6. And then when I do that, that gives me 3x plus 1. And that's my answer. Okay, last example, you guys. Example 10. Notice that it's a minus, okay? My lowest common denominator is just going to be x minus 2. times x. Okay, so then from here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and look at the two different fractions. I have the orange fraction and I also have the yellow fraction. So with my yellow fraction, what am I missing? I am missing one of the x's. So I multiply x, top and bottom. And so then my new denominator is x minus 2 times x. But my numerator is x times x, which is x squared. A lot of people put 2x, and it's not correct. It's x times x, so it's x squared. Then I'm going to take a look at the orange one. So with the orange one, what am I missing? I am missing, let's see, x minus 2, top and bottom. So my denominator is x minus 2 times x. But then my numerator, you got to distribute that 2, okay? And it's not just a 2, it's a negative 2 because it's a minus. So negative 2 times x is a negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. Okay, so then from there, let's combine my like terms. On top, it's x squared minus 2x plus 4. On the bottom, it's just x times x minus 2. And I know you're like, okay, so that's my answer, right? It could be your answer, but you should also realize that you can go ahead and factor out the top. You gotta ask yourself, what times one gives me a positive 4? But when I go ahead and actually, you know what? Never mind, we cannot. Sorry. We're right here. Yeah. Okay. You actually can factor that out. I thought maybe you could, but I'm like, no, you can't. Let me just make sure I did everything correct. You too. No, that's correct. Okay. And that's your answer. And that's it. So you have finished your 10th one. So that is how you add and subtract fractions. I want to kind of like move on to the next one. And so you're done with that. I'm going to give you guys this one. And I just want to go over a few examples of this. Not a lot, but now that we're done with the basic skills of adding and subtracting, I kind of want to jump into like more complicated skills. And I know you're like, no, not complicated skills, but I don't want to not teach you guys the harder stuff so that when you guys go to college or go to your next level class, that you go, huh, how come other people got exposed to the harder stuff and Callahan just taught us all the easy stuff? I mean, everybody wants to teach the easy stuff, but that's not exactly a great thing, because then if you don't get exposed to the more difficult levels, then you never get better at it. You know what I mean? So it'll be easier if I just don't teach you guys this stuff. But I feel like you guys are a really smart group of kids. And so I'm going to just rip off the Band-Aid. We're going to go over the difficult stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at number 1 here as that is being passed around. Like I supplement a lot of materials at home with my kids. I have 4 kids, and my little ones are always like, why do I have to do this? Nobody in my school have to do this. And I'm like, that's probably true, but you know, I do it because I love you, not because I'm trying to make your life difficult, you know, and it would just be easier if I just don't do it, but I do it because I care about you, and I want you to be successful and like get a leg up, you know, in life essentially. So think of it as like it's more work for me as well. All right, so let's take a look at this one. This is simplifying complex fractions. So read number 1, 2, and 3 by yourself, and then we'll go over 2 examples. Okay, so let's take a look at example number 1, you guys. So for example number 1, you're basically like simplifying a fraction with a addition of a fraction, which is absolutely crazy, I know. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna focus on the denominator, okay? So let's combine that fraction first. So what do I do with an x minus 1 and an x? You know your lowest common denominator is x minus 1 times x, right? So then that means I need to multiply the first fraction with an x on top and bottom, and the second fraction by x minus 1 top and bottom. If I do that, then what I'll have is I'll have 4x on top over x minus 1 times x on the bottom. That's my first fraction. And then my second fraction, I'll have 1 times x minus x on top, which, you know, multiplying by 1, it's just x minus 1. Nothing changes. And on the bottom, I'll have x times x minus 1 on the bottom. Do I have the same common denominator? I do. They're the same common denominator, x times x minus 1, which is the same thing as x minus 1 times x. And then what do I do on top? All I need to do on top is I need to combine the 4 with the x, which gives me a 5x, and that negative 1 stays right there. So now you just rewrote the denominator, and in your head, you got to think about the fact that, okay, it's still this numerator in orange divided by this new denominator. Okay, so I'm going to have to look at the orange and divide them. So then what we do in that case, I'm going to have 2 over x minus 1, which is my numerator, divided by 5x minus 1 over x times x minus 1. Okay, and isn't this bar the same thing as this division sign? It's the same thing, right? I just rewrote it differently. Now, going back to 3rd grade math with fractions, how do you combat the division? Don't you change it to a multiplication, you guys, right? And then don't you flip the second fraction when you do that? So I'm just going to rewrite it by flipping it. And then your first fraction, nothing changes. It stays exactly the same. Kind of like remember that back in memory lane, 3rd grade or 4th grade. Okay, now comes the fun part. You gotta ask yourself, okay, what do I have that's the same top and bottom? Those are exactly the same in green. So what do I do with that? I just cross it out because that's gone. And my answer is just 2x over 5x minus 1. I know that's kind of a hard concept because you have like common denominators, fractions, a fraction on top of a fraction, and then with a big division, right? So there's a lot of skills going into that one question. But I feel like if I don't teach you guys the harder stuff, it's really a disservice to you guys. So, all right, I'm gonna stop at number 1. We'll continue with number 2 next class. So now turn over to your posters right there. And I'm gonna have you guys do a quiz that's gonna be on adding and subtracting rationals. So give me 1 second while I set this up. So if you need an iPad, please come up and grab one. No, I don't like that. Show functions. Okay, so for those of you guys on Zoom, you're going to go ahead and join us right here. So joinmyquiz.com and then enter the code 902204 and just show your work on your poster paper. And that is it. So go ahead and get started with that. Okay, you guys, so if you are completely done with this, even if you're not, keep working on this. But if you are done with this is your exit ticket for today. You guys have about 8 minutes of class left. So you have plenty of time to kind of complete it. And so for those of you guys who are on Zoom, this will be the last thing that you guys will need today. And since you guys are enjoying that awesome music, let me just turn it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, so go ahead and finish up your exit ticket right here, and then we are pretty much done. So for those of you guys on Zoom, have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.